the earliest peace. The fact that the earliest peace treaty in history was made by the Egyptians is also very important and needs to be on our list. This treaty dates to around 1259 before Christ and was made between the Egyptians and the Hittites after almost 2 centuries of conflict and enmity. At that time, both sides had ample reasons to cease conflicts and sue for peace, since the Egyptians were under threat from the infamous Sea Peoples and the Hittites from the encroaching Assyrian Empire. Both versions of the treaty text survive to this day, fully translated. This peace treaty is known as the Eternal Peace. The faience. Did you know that the Egyptians developed a unique style of ceramic that was known as faience? This was a sintered quartz ceramic that displayed vitrification, meaning it had a bright luster of several colors, mostly blue and green. This is somewhat similar to glazing and was used in all forms of ceramic ware, from ornaments to jewelry and to monuments. It was also widely exported throughout the ancient world and built locally throughout Egypt. It is often described as the first high-technology ceramic and today survives in numerous archaeological finds. The shipbuilding. Even by 3000 before Christ, the ancient Egyptians had mastered fully their shipbuilding techniques. They used these both for sailing up and down the Nile, which was an immense part of their economy, and also for seafaring trade with neighboring nations. In their earliest form, these were plank ships, but they developed steadily into unique barges and transport vessels. Egyptians mastered the use of tremmels, wooden pegs for connection, and also the use of pitch for caulking. Mortise and tenon joints were also used, showing their understanding and mastery of woodworking. The most famous fully intact surviving ancient Egyptian ship is the Khufu ship, found sealed in the Pyramid of Giza. It measures almost 4 to 4 meters in length, 143 feet. The military. There is a reason why the Egyptians managed to dominate the ancient Near East and create a vast realm for such a long time, and this reason was their skilled military. For the most part, the soldiers were trained civilians from the general populace, but over time, many mercenaries also filled the ranks. These came from Nubia, Libya, Kush, and other places. The Egyptian military relied on the use of bows and arrows, but also on use of shields, spears, and unique Kopish swords. They were also well known for their use of war chariots, which they adopted from their Hyksos enemies. The diet. You might be surprised to know one unique fact about the Egyptian diet. It was simple. Most commonly it consisted of bread and beer, and also great amounts of vegetables, mainly onion and garlic, which the Egyptians believed was highly beneficial to health. Dates, figs, carobs, and other fruits were also common. For the common folk, meat was reserved mostly for festivities, while the upper classes had it more often. Fish and fowl were common foods, especially with the proximity of the Nile. Interestingly, Egyptian beer was the most common staple part of their diet, consumed daily and often. But don't be mistaken, it was far from today's beer. It was rich and nutritious, quite similar to a mash or gruel. The entertainment. Contrary to popular belief, the ancient Egyptians really knew how to have fun. They enjoyed music greatly and mastered the use of cymbals, tambourines, drums, and bells, while importing other instruments from afar, such as lutes and lyres. They also had their iconic sistrum instrument, which was like no other and closely resembled a rattle. Other than music, the Egyptians enjoyed board games. Many different types are known today, such as senet and mehen, which are board games where pawns were moved about. Another highly unique board game was hounds and jackals, which spread from Egypt to many far places. Did you know that senet is one of the oldest known board games? The law. One important fact about the ancient Egyptians is that they had a well-developed legal system. At its head was usually the ruler, a pharaoh, who brought new laws, ensured order, and delivered justice. In all court cases that dealt with minor disputes and offenses, a special council of elders presided. It was known as kenbit, and when the cases were serious, a great kenbit presided, at whose head was the pharaoh. A key part of this system was the scribes. They kept all records, assessed taxes, and dealt with administration. Around the coming of the New Kingdom, oracles began to play a major role in the legal system. At this time, the gods were asked for justice, where an effigy of a god had to give an answer, yes or no, through various orchestrated means.